Feeling well, man.
What's your name?
My name is Cardi Cornish.
And you a legend?
I'm a legend.
You're a legend here in Baltimore City. Where we at right now?
We live in the 17, Pennsylvania Avenue. The legendary Pennsylvania Avenue.
Man, the last time I saw you here, you were doing something just across the street here. What were you doing?
Oh yeah, I had some food left over from an event. We brung it out and fed a couple of people, man.
Why you do that?
Nice soul food.
Why you do that?
Man, the love that God has shown me in Christ, man, it overflows. That's how it overflows.
Yes, sir.
We got more than we can use.
Already was high within San Antonio, Winchester community, but the age group is getting younger. Children under the age of 18 being murdered in San Antonio has a high peak right now. So our goal is to catch the children.
You going hard, man. You going hard on that man today.
So what do you think, Mr. Mayor? You got manufacturing right here, helping our young people despite all of the challenges in the city of Baltimore, right here on North Avenue.
No, it's really about the growth. Just knowing where, being there when they were down in Port Covington and seeing how far it's grown. Like you said earlier, like getting the Sorbet, you know, where we got the Sorbet at the beginning, but now being able to, when I'm at Cannon Yards, get it, or anytime I'm down at Harbor Place to get it, and folks to not even know, but they gonna know now that like this is coming from young people in West Baltimore, right there in West Baltimore on North Avenue, where they think nothing great comes from, but they can see it in what the young people do.
Here on the bank of Mississippi, down right here, French Ford Mathis. A beautiful town, just leaving Algiers, which is we're going to give you an update. 10 years since Katrina. The news. All right, y'all, this is what I came to New York for. Besides the Black Wall Street Awards, we're going in here and get some of this real good jerk chicken. Johnny Glover, out.
I feel the warmth of your skin. Just the touch of your hand makes me tremble within.
But we need to feed our loved ones. DOTS needs to rescind this package policy program so that our loved ones are able to eat every day in that filthy facility that
we have some stars in the building.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover, in it to win it for the long haul, baby. Let me tell you, we have a very special guest today. Matter of fact, she is the subject of one of our first live broadcast from Africa. Who is she? Her name is Christina Flowers. She's an advocate for the homeless, for the hungry, for the disenfranchised here in Baltimore City and beyond. Does she get on my nerves? All the damn time. But at the same time, this lady has a voice for the people. And she does what a lot of people won't do. I think when I think of a B. Gaddy, when I think of my very own mom, I remember my mom's very last Thanksgiving. And during her very last Thanksgiving, I was chopping down on a piece of pineapple upside down cake, just knocked out the dinner, and I'm chopping. I remember it like yesterday. She comes over my right shoulder and she hands me 2 plates wrapped in aluminum foil. And she said, here, go give these to somebody. I said, give them to who, Ma? And she said, give them to anybody. Years later, I would meet B. Gaddy. And I'd learn her story, how she gave up her bed for other people to lay down. But years after I met B. Gaddy, it dawned on me, my mother was the first one to show me how you take care of people. And so Christina Flowers certainly fits into that ilk. And without further ado, we're going to bring up the bully herself, Christina Flowers. Good morning. Good morning.
Trying to change my location. Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing?
You're in the show.
Hi.
Good morning.
Okay, you said that already.
I can't hear.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I can hear you. That's why I gave you the link.
Uh-oh.
That's why I gave you the link days ago, so you could get in here.
Is this something I should be hitting, Donnie?
Yeah, you should be hearing me talking. Why don't you go get your other phone and cut the show on your other phone? Lord have mercy.
Good.
Well, as she gets her stuff together, I can share with you a little bit of history. So my name's Donnie Glover, publisher of BeMoreNews.com. Some time ago, 2015, I came up with my first book, Unapologetically Black. Here comes this lady again. We're going to try this again. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
No, so I guess I'm not able to get in
Hi,
this
how you
morning.
doing? I can hear you.
Can't hear you.
I can hear you. Oh, okay. It's going to be one of those mornings. Technical difficulties. You know, that comes with the territory. My second book, first one was 2015. This is 2021. I really have to master these lights. I Am Black Wall Street. Matter of fact, we got a Black Wall Street Awards coming up October the 9th, next Wednesday at Black Swan. I've never been inside Black Swan. I'm so looking forward to it. I've heard a lot about their food, and I want some. I want some right now. And this just came out. And I'm working on my fourth book. And my fourth book, I plan to have that done by December. So it'll be all ready for Christmas gifts. It's going to be different than these first three. I can assure you that. Because I cuss in this one. It's real. Anyway, got a strike going on down at the Port of Baltimore. Strikes all up and down the East Coast, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Better stock up on toilet paper. All right, are you there?
I think I have done something great, Donnie. You hear me?
Yes.
Wow. I can no longer keep saying I'm not technical savvy. I just did something great. How are you? Good morning. Happy morning to you and your guests.
Show you right. All right.
Sure, you're right. How are you?
You missed my whole introduction of you and everything.
For real? Well, listen, because you are a brother that has followed me from Nigeria to Baltimore and so many other parts of this journey, I'm already feeling it. Like your introduction is for your listeners, I guess, so they can, just like Jesus wrote a book, a whole Bible is really just for us to really listen to today. It's really for us, right? So prayerfully your listeners had an opportunity to hear your greatness, because again, you done followed me on this journey from not only around the city and different crises, but when I was in Nigeria as well, you was trying to get the phone right. So I have a great part of respect for you in this journey, Donnie. So I'm happy to be on. I'm glad I was able to get it right. And I'm happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. I remember one time, it was around the holidays, and this young couple, and the woman had kids. So the young man with her, he was being a stepdad, and they were both homeless. And I called up Christina Flowers, and I called up Diane Bell McCoy.
Wow.
Christina gave them shelter, and Diane gave them Christmas. And together, both of y'all did something good in this city.
Yeah.
If I ever hear somebody saying something slick about either one of these two people, I got to G check them because I know what they have done. Maybe they just ain't like you. Maybe Christina just don't like you. I don't know.
I don't know, Donnie.
Me and Christina did have a beef when she brought all them homeless people.
Oh man.
I had a problem with that. I'm gonna sit up here and tell you the truth. But at the end of the day, her intentions were good. And she even brought Shorty up here with the barbecue pit, and I got mad at him because I ain't getting no barbecue. So, you know, what? Should have brought me some barbecue.
Wow.
But be that as it may, God and Jesus and the prophets, they tell us to feed the hungry, to house the homeless.
Yeah.
How is it dealing with people who don't want to follow the rules? Because you have houses and you've dealt with people with extreme cases of mental illness. How do you treat somebody that doesn't want to be treated?
Well, Donnie, you know, that's a wide question, because when you're dealing with multiple disorders, sometimes people that have dual diagnosis, they have all type of experiences of trauma, but then you have to have 20, 30 groups talking about trauma, but no one understanding at the end of the day, all of these things that we learn, whether through biblical understanding, whether through our college degrees, whether through whatever status, is all about implementing what you learn. It's about implementing, it's about demonstrating it so you can be on that path. Spiritually, you want to be on that path where you're learning to be more like Christ. That's the path you want to be on, but you have to remember the principles of not only reading, but implementing and demonstrating what it is that we do. So we have to constantly be reminded that we are spiritual beings going through a worldly experience. So we constantly have to redevelop what it's like to be blessed or be the peacemaker, because you're not always willing to be blessed or be the peacemaker. You may be you might want to raise some bullhorns and do protests and really speak on the things, like in the first part of this journey with me. It was more about exposing things. It was more about, can y'all see homelessness, people living under bridges, people living right on your doorstep and laying in your street. So it was more of that rebel approach, more of that aggressive approach. That's why I know brothers like you are my true kings. Y'all my heroes, because you can only see a queen in a lot of different forms and still know she's a queen.
Yeah, I don't let nobody talk about you around me. I
And
always tell
that's what I constantly feel. That's why the experiences of Nigeria even have to teach me, because I'm amongst a lot of men, a lot of brothers. They may not know how to treat a real queen, because they got to see me in the aggressive mode, or they got to see me in the mode that is to rattle their cages, because they're not seeing the molding of God in my life, and they definitely not acknowledging it probably in theirs. But that's not for us to judge one another. We got to think about the things that expose the acts of the sinful nature. And basically, I'm excited to be on, because, and I know with this journey, you had to take the afflictions, you had to take the criticism, I had to take the retaliation. And a lot of times, when they say the truth hurts, you're not used to absorbing hurt. But thank God that, you got to go through these molding seasons, because now when I think about October the 18th and what we are allowed to do by having our first unity, and I called it a first unity homeless gala, because unity is going to expose a lot of the division in our city during this time. Unity is going to expose the dislike. Unity is going to expose everything you just said. Maybe I was too big, maybe I was too loud. But if we really got genuine leaders and genuine individuals that understand the purpose is going to override your feelings and your emotion about that person. If you're truly about the unity in Baltimore City, when every agency that functions in this city deals with homelessness. I don't care if it's the mayor's office of whatever. The trash man deal with homelessness. The bus drivers deal with homelessness. Our clergy, our bishops, they deal with homelessness. So when you're talking unity, you got to move the person aside. So Miss Flowers is just the person you might not like or you might disagree with. But if we got a genuine purpose in our city, not to be counting the numbers of homeless individuals that go identified and some go unidentified. If we're not just sitting back waiting for those numbers, we should be very proactive when it comes to building unity. So October the 18th, it is our first Unity Homeless Gala. And
Where?
I think God is going to be at the War Memorial. This is not just about this gala, Donnie. Like, we have slept around this building. We have fed around this building. We have clothed around this building. We've done numerous of demonstrations around this building. And I truly believe God time and say, let's go into building. So I'm just looking for my Luke 14 moment where I'm preparing for a banquet. It's really up to the individuals to not focus on Christina, but we need the support of this whole city to be able to occupy this space and to be able to demonstrate something that do not only equip Minister Flowers, but it can equip all of our Black churches in our city to have an emergency plan or an emergency outlet when it comes to our homeless community. That goes for the hospitals, that go for the day drop-in centers. And if we want to be very proactive and not turn into a Chicago or New York or LA or DC, we should really consider how can we eradicate street homelessness in Baltimore City through a lot of the venues, the churches, the businesses, once we really unify and put this Habakkuk 2 plan in place. We got to put it in place, Donnie. Again,
Hold up.
yes, sir.
Are you gonna let me ask you any questions, or is
Go
this
for it.
just
I didn't know you wanted to talk to me.
this is the Donnie Glover show?
Okay, I got
Damn,
ask the questions away, Donnie.
Christina, tell me about the trauma that people are dealing with.
Wow. Like I said, it's so many different levels of trauma. You got trauma from the detachments, a lot of them from their family. You got the trauma from the day-to-day experiences of being disengaged. You got the trauma of the confusion of a system that is broken when it comes to a lot of areas concerning our vulnerable population. We got a dysfunctional system, let's put it like that. But in the same time, we got to be able to identify individuals equally. Like, you can't put them all in the same box and really have a genuine idea how to
There's some
solve the
other
problem.
trauma. There's some other trauma. There's sexual. There's drugs. There's
Oh, you
alcohol.
can say, I ain't want you ain't say name all of them.
Yeah, I want you to name the trauma that you see on a regular basis.
So it's all the above. It's all the above. The trauma that you see daily on a regular basis with this population is all the above, because they are outside. Not only are they out there experiencing it, but they're coping day by day, whether it's using drugs or popping pills. So when I say everything that you're naming it plays a part in these individuals outside.
What about
That's what,
depression?
depression. Yeah, that's just like not being able to be around general population. You deal with people all the time like that. A lot of them live in the woods. A lot of them live in areas where not even the outreach workers, care to go that deep.
B. Gaddy would go up in the hole. I just want you to know B. Gaddy would go
Yeah,
anywhere.
going up in the hole.
B.
But
Gaddy go up in the hole and take blankets and coffee.
Wow.
And that's what I see you doing out there. You underneath for 83. You still under 83?
Well, a lot of the downtown encampments are spread it out, Donnie, because we did do the 2 hotels right there on Gay Street. And this is something that the mayor put out in reference to securing more space and more housing for some of the street experienced homeless individuals. But one of them had to be turned into a family shelter because we got a lot of mothers and children now, Donnie, facing homelessness and being displaced with them and their children. Whether they at an auntie house, a cousin house, we experiencing a trickling effect of individuals that's experiencing homelessness. And right now, it's our mothers and children. So we do have a lot of scattered encampments downtown around the 83 to Fallsway corridor. But you also got to understand a lot of these individuals stay in this area because this area is where the most resources is coming from, whether it's the healthcare to homeless, whether it's the shelter that I happen to be a part of, the shelter transformation team now. I got on that committee because it's about the root and the core of engaging them. So once you do the outreach and you get a chance to engage them, the shelter transformation team that we have become a part of is really about getting in the shelter and being able to engage them. So that's another component that we're going to be talking about October the 18th. So again, it's an opportunity for, hey, lottie-dottie, everybody.
You had to get your own line. Everybody want to steal that line. That's a WOLB staple. Listen, Christina, yeah, we tell this is Black USA. We need something new, something fresh. This 21st century.
That's the purpose. The 21st century is put the purpose over the people. If we put the purpose over the people, a lot of us will get out of our feelings, our dislikes, who make us uncomfortable. It ain't about us. As visionaries, it ain't about us.
We know who some of these rat bastards are. But listen,
I wanted to add, we can say that word over here.
It's in the dictionary. But listen, I wanted to ask you, what mayor has been most helpful to you?
I'm going to have to say Stephanie Rollins Blake.
Why?
I think I'm gonna say that because that was the first year that I was able to engage.
That's good.
With you hand clapping?
Yes.
Is that good?
You give props to people while they're alive because I've been very hard on that particular man. So to hear something good about her, that's very warm. I love the dad. I still remember his phone number, 804-0045. Pete Rollins.
Okay.
That was my 500 grand. Listen, there was a media outlet wanted me to put a hit on Pete Rollins, but I told him I couldn't do it. I loved the man. He was always good to me. Had the memory of an elephant. So his daughter, I just had higher expectations than Freddie Great Thing came out and all of that, blah, blah, blah. But tell me some more about Stephanie Rollins Blake. I'd love to hear.
Well, one of the things I was able to engage her on was putting together a pilot program. And I say this because we were never privileged to be able to access grants or funding through the Belvedere, but she did allow one of her organizations to pretty much put in for a pilot program that we introduced. We introduced the pilot program to one of an existing, operating, funded organizations with the Mayor Office of Homeless Services. And when we implemented this, Stephanie Rollins Blake allowed them to be pretty much the fiscal agent to manage the money, but we were able to partner with them and do some emergency housing, like straight out of the tent, straight from where they at, straight off the street. We were able to implement that. We were definitely able to implement that through Rollins Blake allowing the organization to do it. But of course, you know, you got a system, you got policies that have to be respected through a lot of these operationals, operational organizations. That's why it's so important that we be able to create and develop things within this grassroots movement. You know, when you're talking about non-governmental organizations or those organizations that's not operating under funds, we have to consistently build upon the things that God has given us to build upon. So she definitely gave us that opportunity. But I could also say, you know, I definitely, as of this morning, we did get confirmation that the mayor is in full support about October the 18th event at the War
Yeah, I
Memorial.
was going to say, of all of the mayors, I thought, and this is just from my purse, that Brandon has been very kind to you.
He's very kind. Brandon was kind to me as a little kid when we were growing up, and he came and was trying to be council person. He's been very kind. He's been very polite. He's been very kind. And those are the things that we have to learn not to take away from individuals as they're being molded.
Yeah.
So he has been very kind. But, you know, has he been aggressively working towards some of the initiatives of eradicating street homelessness? I could not agree with that. You know, but I do.
Homelessness can be totally eradicated.
We can.
Hold on, this is the Donnie Glover show. Because there's some people who will not follow the rules. They want to get high. They want to get drunk.
You call them functioning addicts.
They want to do what they want to do,
yep.
But yet then they say, I'm homeless, and you say, well, do you want to go down to the shelter? Now, no. I will say, I understand that some of these shelters are worse than jail.
Go for it.
Some of these shelters are violent. You will get robbed. You might get stabbed.
Go for it. You might get killed.
You might get killed.
You might get raped.
You might get raped.
You might get re-traumatized.
Yeah.
We could keep going on, just like the question you said earlier.
So how do you help a person who won't stop getting high, but yet they're homeless?
Well, you got to look at the population of functioning addicts, Donnie. And I'm going to put it all together as simple as this. You have functioning addicts. Some of us grew up with a functioning addict in our family, whether it was an alcoholic, whether it was a father or mother. They functioned every day. They were able to go to work. Some people never experienced homelessness. So what you're looking at now, individuals have become so accustomed to thinking this is okay to be this way. So now you have means to want to function as this addict, but you still need help too. So at the same time, Donnie, they're functioning and coping the way that they know how to keep their independence. But if we are the professionals, the housing developers, the housing planners, the individuals with millions of dollars of budgets, we have to develop and create the type of housing for these individuals. Because unfortunately, it may not be a policy of the government, it may not be a policy of the city, but we're talking about God's people. We're talking about people that need the second chance the same way like individuals today. You can have individuals working on the mayor's salary, making hundreds of $1,000s, and they're able to operate and function, right? But we won't even put some of our homeless addicts on back of a trash truck. But then
Everybody deserves a second chance.
everybody.
Some of us need a third, a fourth,
Yep.
a fifth,
Yep.
a sixth, a seventh, a eighth, a ninth, a 10th, 11th, a
Yep.
12th, a 13th, a 14th.
7 times 70. 7 times 77. That's why it takes. That's why, Donnie, it's going to take a unique population to deal with those individuals that you're talking about.
Yes.
It takes a unique population to deal with the individuals that you are expressing. And unfortunately, it may not come from a college degree. It may not come from a training you had in class.
But they make people go through to get a college degree drives people so far from reality.
Yes.
I met all these PhDs, including some people that work for the city government, state government.
Yep.
They're so smart, they stupid.
Yep. They got, and some of them got second and third chances too, right, Donnie?
Yeah, black and white.
Yeah, some of them got second. You look at some of that backgrounds, you got killers, recovering addicts. You got everything that could be operating in our city right now.
But we get to that point where we look down our nose at people.
No, that's why we need to work on that same type of development for our street homeless people, for those that have taken pride over everything. Some people don't go into shelters because of pride. You got other men in there and individuals that when it comes to engaging, that's not what they know how to do. So you got the ones that's not going in the shelter. So we constantly going to look at this, but you know,
but let me ask you this: global warming has taken away some of the colder days and nights that we have traditionally have. Is global warming making it easier to be homeless?
Yes. Yes. Because you got to look at places like where we're going to have some of our guest speakers coming from. We got somebody coming from Skid Row. She does outreach on Skid Row. We have someone coming from DC. We have someone coming from Florida. These are areas and cities that the temperature allow individuals to go to what they are known to as their comfort zone. If we had Skid Row, downtown Baltimore, it wouldn't exist because it's going to cause an uprise in that area. But how can we not be more proactive and developing and creating what's needed for our chronically homeless people? Because some of those people that you identify got a name to them, Donnie. They are considered the chronically homeless individuals. That means they've been homeless probably about 50% of their life. So if they was a homeless teenager, you might be running into them now at 30.
Tell me about the homeless teens.
You might be running into them now at 30.
Are the homeless teens heavily around Baltimore Street, around Utah Street?
You have them around the same. You have them around the Kaiser Permanente area. You have them around the downtown Utah Street area. The difference in a lot of our homeless youth, they are more able to blend in any type of environment, even if that's going and having a whole vacant house set up in places that some people think is just an abandoned spot. You know, I done went up in some vacants where some of our youth done took over a whole apartment building. And ain't nobody been up in there in months. That's why we got to talk about the housing and development as well. Like that's an agency that has to be more open to the help and the resources. And as long as we as independent movement or nonprofits don't decide to make moves when it comes to solutions, then we're constantly being a part of the problem.
Why do you do this every day?
Because God say so. Every day. It's like finding your purpose in life and sticking to it, no matter what obstacles and challenges that's coming your way. You know, I've lost a lot during this journey, but I've also been molded into what I feel that God wants me to be.
What
So
did you lose?
every day I don't have an option to change course or find another interest in life. You know, I can't do none of that because this is a vision.
What did you lose?
The recent thing I've lost in my life, Donnie, and I feel like a part of me lost a big thing, was my mom. You know, I've lost the opportunity in relationships even to experience the difference in humanity and what has become a selfish need. A lot of people around you are selfish when you start to identify the vulnerability of life. You know, so that means your family. I've lost a lot of family relationships because somewhere people don't have a relationship with you as you're transforming in Christ. Some people always want to see you as they see you. You know, I lost what I considered when I got thrown in the paper in 2015. I feel like I lost just to acknowledge to say, well, I've never been in a paper before. You know, you lose things because you have to start gaining yourself as well, like some
What did they
experience.
say in 2015?
Huh?
What did they say in the paper?
Well, the 2015 was during the same time when Mayor Rollins Blake gave us the opportunity to do the pilot with the city funding.
Sun paper did an article on you?
The Sun paper did an article, and then we did a retraction with the Sun paper. The Brew did an article, and again, it was in reference to, you know, my responsibility was bringing individuals from out of encampments and out of outside lived environments. That was my responsibility to bring them in. Once they went into certain houses, it became a conflict of, oh, they got to go because they want to smoke in the room. Oh, they got to go because they want to still get high. So again, I had some I'm going to say some unskilled providers working with a population of individuals that we need to consider and understand what chronically homelessness look like. Even you yourself need to learn and understand that. It's about a chronically homeless
I need
population
to learn it.
because sometimes you may look at that addict and feel like they just want to get high. Sometimes they coping.
How you know what I'm thinking?
Because you said it.
I live here in Sandtown. I see homeless people every damn day. Now, let me tell you something else.
Yes.
When somebody say, hey, I need $1, I need $2. And then next thing I know, I see you out back in the vacant shooting dope. Don't tell me what I need to see. I done seen it. I done seen a lady crawl because she done pawned her wheelchair and on all fours crawling down the street.
Do you think it's the reason? Do you think it's the reason for you to see all of those things?
Oh my God, of course there is. But let me tell you something.
Do you believe it's the reason?
Hold up. Hold up. I don't need you to tell me. I've seen this long before I met you.
You gotta see a reason.
I just seen shooting galleries from New York to Atlanta. This ain't my first rodeo.
I know it's not.
However,
and we never can get comfortable.
Hold up. I told you this is the Donnie Glover show. Wherever you live, whoever you are, there are rules.
Yes.
And if you don't follow the rules, you will find yourself by yourself.
Yes.
And for the people who really don't want to act right, they got a place called Central Booking, and they also got them psychiatric wards with them straitjackets. Now, I will say that you have a gift and you have the patience of Job.
Jesus.
But whoever you are,
the second person that said that this morning.
there are rules. And let me tell you something. They get a lot of grace. People get a lot of grace. We all get a lot of grace and mercy here in these United States. There are countries where they just take you out back and put a bullet in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's consider that. Down in South America, you see a lot of people fleeing from there. Sex trafficking, little girls, cocaine, cartels. They cut your head off.
Yes.
So don't, be careful telling me what I need to see. I grew up above a funeral
No,
home.
I say that because I believe it's by God design. Just like some of the things you see, I've experienced and seen, every day just through basic outreach, even when I've walked in tents and individuals were deceased, froze, or OD. So I say that to say God gave you eyes to see that for a reason. Now, have you discovered the full-blown reason yet? I'm not here to say that, but you need to think about those experiences and understand how traumatic it can be for you personally. So when I say I lost, that's why I say traumatically, we lose something every day, but it's really to gain ourselves in Christ because the strength, the endurance, the patience that God allows me to demonstrate is only because I implement the word of God. The word of God is meant to be implemented and demonstrated every day in our life. So I can't take
Well, I
credit for
watch
that.
what you do. I don't really listen to what you say. I watch what you do.
That's
And,
right.
and, to
And
be
may the
quite
work
honest,
and may the work be done. May
I
the
done
work
told
I've done.
you Glover show Christina Flowers.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I don't care for preachers too much because they're full of it. Most of these damn preachers are full of it.
You can say
Unless
that on your show too. Most of these, let me stop. It's a
okay,
part of me.
let
It's
me
a
clear
part of
it
me
up.
that want to act up anyway.
Too many of these preachers are full of it.
Wow.
You see them on TV, you see them in Gucci Fiats
Wow.
or living in gated communities. That's not what Jesus would do.
No.
But when I see a PM Smith come over here on Pennsylvania Avenue and bring his whole church, PM ain't perfect, but I've seen that man perfectly love his community.
Yeah.
I've seen Dwayne Simmons up at Simmons Memorial perfectly love his community.
Yeah.
Because if you can walk with kings and not lose the common touch, then you have understood, I think, the law of Christ. But some of us, we get up into those fancy buildings and we get to hang and rub elbows with the rich and famous. But then you can't come out here and give somebody. I done been with a preacher and a politician, and they wouldn't give a poor person $1. And I had to pull out $1 and give it to them just to embarrass them. Shame on you. You make more money than all of us, and you wouldn't share $1.
Wow.
See, those things.
I see it a lot. Because sometimes you got to look at it. They're
Like
hot.
I got so sick of Fox 45 and them got daggone reporters talking about the squeegee kids. And you don't hear a damn word about the squeegee kids today. And nobody gives Brandon credit. Nobody. You don't hear a damn word about the squeegee kids today. Brandon quelled that problem. But I tell you what I do see on them damn corners, them white addicts. And they walk up to my car and I say, step away from my vehicle. Because I don't know who you are. And I don't know how damn dangerous you are. And I feel intimidated for my life.
Now, is that going to be your thought?
Step away from my vehicle. Don't come walking up on me. I might shoot you.
Oh.
But nobody said, Fox won't say one damn thing about it. Why? Because they white. Okay. The squeegee kids were black. You ain't see one white squeegee kid. So the racism is something that really has to be dealt with, and it's never been addressed. I get all of these people that call, they got all of these ideas. Until you deal with America's original sin, racism, you ain't going to accomplish nothing. And we're sick of it. Because a lot of these people who are racist are dumb as a doorknob.
But they got the handle on the root and the core of things, Donnie.
They got privilege.
Now,
let me tell you something else.
We can say white privilege?
Let me tell you something else. A lot of us are starting to pick up on that privilege thing. A lot of us are starting to act like privilege.
Yeah.
Like somebody awesome. A lot of that. Hold up. I told you that a lot of our kids are acting privileged. Like they ain't got to clean up before they go outside. Like they ain't got to wash dishes or take out the trash. Like they ain't going to help mama or daddy. That privilege thing is dangerous. That ought to be one of the deadly sins.
One of my
like
followers
owe you something.
One of my followers said, she saw some white boys squeegeing.
You know what the hell I'm saying. That black boy shot that man that came wheeling a bat at him. Wasn't no damn white kids out there. The face of Squeegee is black. Don't get it twisted.
Okay. He said the face of, okay.
And that's who the people were mad at. Them white women, because some of them white women were flirting with them little squeegee boys.
Wow.
Just like back in the day, we know.
So Donnie, look, we all are experiencing. Okay. Yeah, that's your show. Let me be quiet.
It's a little too late for that. So look, here's a question from Florida. Michael Randolph, here's this question. He said, would you be willing to do some consulting work with one of the largest homeless programs in Tampa?
Yes, I would.
Okay, you want to put your phone number out there?
410-365-5567. And Donnie, like I said, as far as October the 18th, it's really about bringing others from surrounding areas and cities, because we have an opportunity to be proactive. So either here, Tampa Bay, all of our cities in our states where we are residing at have to have a plan. And when you think of the plan and you're putting it in writing, it has to equip and empower individuals to execute the plan. We have to, you can get all the education you want, you can go to school, you can go to college, but once you put in that environment and that situation where you have to engage, that means you have to engage that addict. You have to engage that individual that is complicated or difficult to place.
You are racist too, Christina.
Do you feel that?
Yes, because you would bring the homeless to Sandtown, but you wouldn't take the homeless over there to Guilford or to Roland Park. Why won't you take the homeless to Guilford or Roland Park or to East Harbor?
Donnie, I have taken the homeless smack in front of City Hall.
Take the homeless to Green Spring Valley, to them big old houses out there.
I have taken the homeless in front of City Hall.
Homeless in Sandtown.
I have taken homeless.
Take them to Roland Park. Set up an encampment in Roland Park.
No, we need to set up relationships in Roland Park.
That's where racism started in Baltimore.
That's where we need to set up relations. If I could just say something on that part, Donnie, because that's where it gets political at, because when we're working with the right,
it's racist. They think
let me know when you, this your show, so I gotta wait till you let me get it out. You ready? When we working with the good in the hood, that goes for council people, anyone in the political arena. If you're really about movement in your city and solutions and unity, you're really about the good in your hood. So when it comes to politicians, our council people, or individuals that should be representing us, we should be pushing for issues like homelessness outside of our stores, homelessness laying in our streets, homelessness in our parks. We got so many pocket encampments, like pocket, maybe one tent, maybe two tents. We got it all over the districts in Baltimore City. And until these leadership representatives learn how to work with the good in the hood, like the Minister Flowers and other organizations, that's NGOs doing the work. That's why this unity, it's about unity.
when you mention the NGOs, you know those are international organizations, and I know you've done work with Africa.
I have one of those.
Okay, this is what I want to ask you. What other groups in Baltimore are effectively addressing homelessness?
Well, that's the now listen to your question. You say effectively addressing homelessness. I gotta say,
listen, don't twist the question. Who do you respect?
I have respect for the infrastructures that are identifying relationships that is more of a wraparound services to elevate that individual. If we're not working as a navigating team, then we never waiting to get that person housed.
So you ain't gonna shout out nobody. Who you gonna give a shout out to? Come on, you got your own damn radio show. You don't need this show.
Shout out to WLB 10 a.m. My show.
God.
How about that? Every Thursday, 2:30 to 3:30. Let me shout that out because it would be harder for me to just impulsively shout out an answer on an hour show to people who don't know me. Then they got to come and listen to me and understand why it's not about shouting out anyone for me other than the glory of God. We gotta shout out God. We gotta shout out God because He's using a vessel like me to open up the eyes and the ears.
Andy Pierre said, tell them about the tickets and tell them about your partners.
Our partners, our tickets are, you could go to the website for our tickets for October the 18th. We are asking for help from all entities. You know, the website is www.helpbaltimoreshomeless.org. You can use that component of a Ziffy, or you can go to cflow32, which is my Gmail for any Zelle. We are asking for supporters and sponsors because we have a guest list, and a lot of our guests will be the underserved homeless population. So we are looking for those sponsors to secure your tickets now. We do have a partnership with the Mayor's Office of Homeless Services. That's a hand clap for me, Donnie, because that hasn't been a best work in progress over the 6 homeless directors, but we have an amazing homeless director that will be in attendance. We have the support of our mayor. We have Calvin Young. We have a speaker, Madam Barbara Robinson, will be our grand speaker for the evening. You know, this is a senator that has not only experienced homelessness, but she's inspired me throughout this journey to gain some of that patience you see today. So shout out to Barbara Robinson for coming to be our speaker. And again, our great organizer, Andy Pierre. Definitely we want folks to get their tickets, Donnie. You can get your tickets today. You can get them today. You can get them today because, you know, we have this venue and we have an opportunity October the 18th to really demonstrate what unity looks like when you move the people out of the way and focus on the purpose.
Any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? Get your tickets today. We look to see you guys. We asking for, you could even sponsor a whole table. If it's like, we got some churches that sponsor the table. So our tables are $650 and it's $100 per individual. And you can set up a vendor because we're asking for housing providers, service providers, any entity of humanity that is dealing with homelessness. Because again, we want to be able to put things together to develop the plan to eradicate street homelessness in Baltimore City. So my number, if anybody want to reach out, that's 410, that's 365-5567. Feel free to give me a call, give me an email. All partners are needed. This place holds 1,100 people, Donnie, 1,100 people. So we need to go for standing room only on October the 18th so we can eradicate street homelessness in Baltimore City through the channels, whether it's your church,
Part of your challenge is you don't be saying Baltimore, right? You gotta work on how you say Baltimore.
Baltimore.
It's Baltimore. It's Baltimore. Baltimore. Baltimore.
I thank you, Donnie, for this opportunity. I thank your guests for
Oh, I'm
listening.
gonna be sending you an invoice. You charging $6.50 a table. I know damn well
So
I'm
now,
sending
if you want to do a whole table, just send your logo so we can put your logo on the table, Donnie, that you are supporting hashtag homeless not invisible. And Donnie, all our proceeds will go to sustaining our winter outreach, engagement, navigating, and housing. Those are the 4 emergency components where we work to eradicate street homelessness. You can't outreach them.
I got one question for you
One
before you
question.
go. So America has 5% of the world's population, but we have 25% of the incarcerated people. We know that 70% of the people who are released from prison go right back to prison. How much has mass incarceration impacted the homeless population?
Well, if you want to think about the fact that laws is changing every day, I believe even in Florida, they are executing, locking up homeless individuals that are on the streets. And we too, the bill was passed that this can be executed probably anywhere that a local government or a state or a mayor want to implement it. I think here in Baltimore City, we just need to focus.
Baltimore.
I think we need to focus on, and I'm sure it's a mastermind out here that have a lot of answers to that question, because we got a lot of homeless people that are in jail too. But if they start implementing and enforcing locking up our homeless individuals that are residing on the street, again, we're not New York, we're not LA, we're not Chicago. We don't have the numbers that these cities have. So we have to focus on what we can do now and how we can impact our winter when it comes to losing our homeless individuals on the streets, going disengaged. And it's not that they're disengaged by paper, because a lot of homeless people, they got a caseworker, they got a counselor, they got a therapist, they got a probation officer, but they still living in a tent. So all of these agencies can have the right to fail them, while one agency can make a decision to incarcerate them. What kind of sense does that make? So it'd be a shame on us, Donnie, if we allow such a thing to take place in our city.
Christina Flowers, thank you for joining us today. We're very proud of the work you do. I give you the blues, but I just try to keep you honest.
I know.
Up to date, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it, regardless of how I feel. HelpBaltimore'sHomeless.org. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Special thank you to Andy Pierre. Good morning, world.